Victor Decker.
This guy had an idea about the number 5. God, he thought that 5 was his lucky number. He had been married 5 years, had 5 children. He lived number 55, 5th Street. And one day it occurred to him, you know what? I'm going to go down to the racetrack. His lucky number 5. So he goes there, and there is a race number 5, and a 5th of Beethoven is running in race number 5, so he knew this was a winner, right? So he bet $5,000 on a 5th of Beethoven in the 5th race, and sure enough, the horse came in number 5. Well, he thought for sure that he was thinking the things in the right way, but his mindset's kind of weird. There's no such thing as lucky numbers. I mean, you can think that, but part of the difficulty in having a mindset is that if it doesn't serve you, you need to find some way to get rid of the mindset. And it's not hard to know if a mindset serves you. If you keep stubbing your toe and butting your head, you know that the mindset is not working, and it's time to change it. For instance, say you walk into this restaurant, right? And the waitress assumes that you're there to have lunch. So they show you to a table, they're real courteous to you, and as long as your mindset is the same thing as the food service mindset, then things are okay, aren't they? It flows. But let's just say you came in there to buy the restaurant. A little different, huh? So if the person treated you like you were a customer, it'd be a different mindset, because as the person who wants to buy the restaurant, you're not really interested in the customer service per se. You want to know particular things about the restaurant business. So the mindset is crucial. Say you work in a pawn shop. Guy comes in with a 38. Is he there to rob the store? Does he want to pawn the gun? Well, you can see how the wrong mindset there can be very, very detrimental to your health. So I want to show you how critical the mindsets are. This morning, this is just something I thought of. I didn't write this last night because I don't see the future. But I go over to Sutter to go to the meeting. And of course, it's my room, right? It's 9:30. It's my room. What y'all doing in my room? Okay, so there's obviously been some mistake made. And it wasn't me that made the mistake because, well, I just didn't make a mistake. I don't make mistakes very often. I sure didn't make one this morning. I've been coming here for the last several months, so I know that the meeting is in this room. Now, inside, it's a little turmoil because I'm trying to figure out how to yoke these people one by one and get them out of the room. Because obviously they're wrong. But fortunately, I've broken free of the rigid mindset. No matter, I'm a little older than some of you in here, but I have learned to ease back on rigid mindset. I have learned that anybody can be wrong. Anybody can make a mistake. And to make matters worse, there's a sign on the door that says, Cancer Center Meeting on the 7th floor boardroom. What do you mean, Cancer Center Meeting? I'm not part of the Cancer Center Meeting. Well, as it turned out, I calmly asked the lady who was there, how was it that she was in that room, and she assured me that she was supposed to be in the room. She showed me the paper indicating that she was supposed to be in the room. So I called the operator and asked her what the story was, and she said, well, which group are you with? And I told her. And she said, oh, the Toastmasters is on the 7th floor in the boardroom. I said, oh, that's what you mean by the Cancer Center Meeting. Oh, okay, then I remembered we used to meet over in the Cancer Center. So, rigid mindsets had been a problem for me in a lot of my life, but thanks to Toastmasters, I'm learning how to get free of some of those rigid mindsets. You know that since I've been in Toastmasters now, when things occur, I look at them totally different. I look at them as some story that I'm going to be telling. And so when your mindset is that when something's happening to you, it just really is happening to somebody else, you're just kind of watching it happen. Even though you have an experience, it does an incredible amount for your personal growth. Being able to see things as a story. And I see most things as a story. This communication series I was telling you about, Toastmasters now, in addition to the successful leadership series and successful club series, Toastmasters now have a successful communication series. So I'm going to take a portion of that and just see if we can get into that. This is going to be a little interactive. It's going to be a little fun, and you might find out some things about yourself that you didn't know about yourself. I certainly did as I was doing it. One of the things that's in another portion is called Snap Judgments, and I hope to be talking about Snap Judgments in the very near future. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do an inferential judgment test. I'm going to read the situation, and after I read the situation to you, I'm going to come up with a series of statements. Some of the statements are true, some of them are false, and some of them, the information that I give you is not enough, so it's going to be a question mark, okay? And we're going to all do this. Can we agree that we're all going to do this and we're going to have some fun? Okay, now I know some of you love taking notes. Don't bother taking notes, okay? There's not going to be a test after this. 2, 3, 4. Okay. The following report gives some information which is acceptable as truth. Read the account of the incident carefully, then read the statements that follow the report and decide whether each statement is true, false, or not verifiable from the story. Circle T if you can prove the statement true from the story. Circle F if you can prove the statement false from the story. If a statement is not definitely true or definitely false, circle the question mark. Ready? So you read silently while I read aloud, like the teacher used to say. The safe in the cafeteria office of Apollo Company was found standing open. Company security has questioned 3 employees in connection with a sum of $1,500, which is unaccounted for. All 3 employees questioned knew the combination of the office safe. It has been determined that one of these employees, Joe A., was on vacation for the entire week during which the incident occurred. Another employee, Jane B., has refused to make any statements and has insisted on talking to a lawyer. The third employee, Jim C., has volunteered to take a lie detector test. Company security is considering calling the police. Now, we don't want to have a bachelor's degree or somebody trying to get a PhD in this thing, so we're going to give you a couple minutes to circle your answers, and then we're going to start talking. Timer, can you break off 2 minutes for me? No, don't start. Stop. Just let me know when 2 minutes is up. Bam. It's over. Looks like everyone for 2 minutes is up. So I'm going to randomly take one of these questions, and I'm going to randomly pick one of you. Dolores, how did you answer number 10? I'll read it to help you and refresh your memory. Either Joe A., Jane B., or Jim C. stole $1,500 from the cafeteria office safe.
I said false.
You said that was false? Mm-hmm. Really? Well, can you do me a favor and come up here where the camera can see you and tell me why you think that's false? Let's give her a round of applause.
I said false because it says in the beginning that Joe A. was on vacation. So if he was on vacation, the assumption is that he wasn't at work to steal the money. So it was between, is it Jane B and C. Okay. That was my, of course you know what happens when you assume.
Thank you very much. Does anybody disagree? Everybody think that's false? You disagree? Okay. Come on up, talk about it. Talk about it. Yeah. So you think it's true?
No.
Oh, you don't think it's true?
I think that we don't have enough information to answer that question. It doesn't
How
state
so?
that the $1,500 came out of the safe. It doesn't state that only those 3 knew the combination. And for all we know, a total stranger came in and stole it out of a cash drawer somewhere. All we know is that $1,500 is unaccounted for and the safe is standing open. Perhaps Joe A. took a staycation, not a vacation, and came in on his day off and took the $1,500.
Give it up for Susan O'Hagan. All right, okay.
Just 'cause she's an analyst. Come on.
Okay. So, I know Cliff gave a speech, but Cliff, how did you answer number 3?
Number 3, I had question mark.
You had a question mark.
Yes.
Please come up. Tell me why. How come you don't know? He said he was on vacation for Christ's sake, right? So how come you don't know?
Well, what I don't know doesn't tell me what I do know. All I know is that he was on vacation. It doesn't tell me anything else. Now, I can assume, as has been pointed out, that he was on vacation out of town and he was unavailable, but I don't know. So, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Cliff. Thank you very much. All right.
When the money went missing. Just know it's not accounted for.
Okay. Rick, it's got to be you now. How did you answer number 2? Come on up, tell us about it. Yeah. We want to hear your answer and why you think that's the answer. Thank you, Rick.
I don't know. It doesn't say. All I know is that they were questioned. All I know is somebody thought that these 3 probably had something to do with it. But there's no evidence to tell us that these 3 people have denied taking the money. Right? That's number 2? Number 3?
Yes.
Okay, number 2. Okay, denied taking the money. The one who asked for a lawyer didn't deny it. They just asked for a lawyer. One who took a lie detector test, that seems to be more of a denial of it, but not necessarily. So the answer to that question is, I just don't know.
Okay. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, Rick. So we have 2 people, 2 of those questions. Okay, let's talk about together. Number 4 says that Jane B. has refused to cooperate with the investigation.
No, she hasn't.
Now,
She just said she wants a lawyer.
so you think that's false?
Yes. Well, no, I think it's a question mark because she hasn't said I refuse.
Mhm.
She's waiting for her lawyer to determine if she will cooperate. We haven't had any sign of refusal yet.
But doesn't asking for a lawyer indicates
No.
that you're not cooperating?
No. It indicates that you want to be careful how you answer questions in this case. It does not indicate any refusal to cooperate.
Well, except now, a refusal to cooperate just merely means I'm not going to answer your questions, because it does say she refused to answer their questions. So it says she refuses to cooperate, but that doesn't mean she's guilty.
No, that doesn't.
But that's not the question. The question
It says she refused to answer the questions without a lawyer.
Well, to me,
She's willing to cooperate with a lawyer.
So that's a definition issue of.
well, it says cooperation with the investigation. To me, that's not her lawyer. That's their investigation. So that's semantics.
So you're saying that's true?
I'm saying it's true. She's not going to cooperate with their investigation. That's all it says.
I disagree. I think it's a question mark because all she said is I'd like a lawyer present.
No, it said she refused to make
Until
any
she has a
statements
lawyer.
and has insisted. Yeah, but if I refuse to make statements, then I'm not cooperating until I have a lawyer.
No, I'm just
until you have a lawyer, but
cooperating
that-
later.
That's all it means.
I'm not answering them now. I will cooperate with a lawyer.
But the question sounds like at the moment. She's
At
not
the
gonna
moment.
That
cooperate.
didn't say at the moment.
Except, well,
It just said.
So
Which is why, as you put question mark, I put no. I put false.
Because you see her getting a lawyer as
She
cooperating.
did not refuse
Mhm.
yet. She may refuse when she gets the lawyer and say, I'm not going to answer your question.
True. I would
But-
go with
but-
that false.
But I see it as false rather than as a question mark.
I could agree with Rick. I don't agree she's refused to cooperate.
your definition of what they said in the report.
It may be that she's had a bad experience and wants a lawyer before she gets herself in trouble.
the way that we are managing these questions is indicative of our tendency to have a rigid attitude or not.
I'm not
Okay.
rigid.
So, see, some people are steadfast in their positions, and some people are not. Some people don't consider the possibility that they could be wrong. But let's go on. Let's go on. Question number 1 says, all 3 of the employees questioned knew the combination to the office safe. Is that true or false?
Yes,
True.
they sure said that. It says all 3 in question knew the combination of the safe, so yes, true.
Well, this is called an inferential judgment test. And we've talked enough about the questions for me to go on to the next phase of the lesson, which is question number 1 is true. And everything else is questionable.
Joe volunteered to take a lie detector test, is true as well.
No. Which one is that?
Question number 5.
Joe has
Oh,
volunteered
Joe
to
was
take
on
a lie.
vacation. I'm sorry, I got the wrong one.
No,
Jim volunteered.
Jim volunteered. So
Sorry.
5
So that is false.
So that's
Try-
question mark, we don't know.
False question mark, we don't know. Okay.
Trying to mess up my game here. Huh?
Sorry. I got the name wrong, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Apology.
So, in my introduction, I talked about my attitude I had that people didn't like me. And I really did have that attitude that people didn't like me. Fortunately, I have shared that attitude, but it was so rigid. I developed a list. First of all, having the wrong attitude stopped me from interacting with people, to stop me from being likable, stopped me from getting some of the things I wanted in my life. But get this, right? I used to have this list as a result of that attitude with people's names on it that, sick puppy, right? That's serious, and some of you got just as crazy stuff going on. But I had this list of people that if I was to kill them a horrible, mean, and nasty death, I would have been justified because of something that they did to me. Can you imagine having those kind of thoughts in your head, and you almost automatically would keep adding to that list every day? So the attitude I had that people didn't like me, it didn't work for me. I was fortunate enough to come to that conclusion and change my attitude. So I'm encouraging everyone that's listening to me to check your attitude and adopt my idea about view attitudes. Because if you can change your view, you really can change your attitude. And it's such a travesty that you have to get so old before you learn stuff like this. I mean, really. I'm sitting there listening to Cliff and I'm going, man, Cliff is reading my mind. He's saying all the things that I believe, and I'm sure. And when he asked if we disagree with anything that he said, how could we disagree? It's the truth. It's irrefutable, all the stuff that he said. But if you'd asked me that when I was walking around with my list, none of that stuff would make any sense to me, because people used to hurt me and they hurt me bad. So the attitude of self-love is something that everyone should adopt, because if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. And believe me, you might get criticized for loving yourself. You might get criticized for saying that you love yourself. But nobody's thinking about you when you're not talking, and not thinking about you when they can't see you. You might as well keep telling yourself that, and it'll make you a better human being. So until the next time we get an opportunity to hear Victor Irving Jenkins pontificate about what he believes, y'all have a good time. Bye for now. Yay!